Okay. All right. Oh, there's Belle. She's here. The yoga master, Belle, is here. Right, Belle? Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll let her be in it today a little bit more. Okay. Sorry, Belle. So we'll just wait a sec to see if anyone, for people to sort of get situated. We'll have a moment of puppy time. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has found that their dog completely adapts to their teaching schedule, but mine does. She knows when we're going to work in the workroom, right? You know when you're doing your yoga? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna just get started here. Welcome to Community Yoga Narada Breathing and Tension Release class. I'm Michele, and this is Belle. And we are just doing kind of like a simple all over stress release, trying to release any feeling of tightness or holding in the body. Also, releasing externally, but waking up more internally. So we just feel a sense of internal connectivity without feeling that we're sort of holding or defending in ourselves, right? So just feeling a bit more open and relaxed and sort of more processed, if you will. You know, sometimes those patterns get strong and they don't really want to let go. So today we've been doing sort of a little bit of hip somethings. Today I'm going to join that with a little bit of a couple different hamstring stretches sitting on the floor. So I will do this throughout September. I'll finish with doing it on the floor. And then in October, I'm going to start with the chair series again a little bit. So just to do a little bit more with the chair. To get a little bit more sequence in there. So let's just sit comfortably, crossing your feet, relaxing in the sits bones, and just kind of shifting side to side, letting your hips relax and letting your tail release down in through the floor. So we're finding a sense of plumb line, relaxing through the tail down, and feeling that sense of balance trickle through the spine. Let's take our hands, just relaxing on top of the head. Try to relax your shoulders and try to let your breath release. We're going to focus on the internal breath, releasing and dropping down into the base of the spine, into the base of the pelvis, and letting any little sort of gentle shifting and releasing come through, letting your jaw and chin relax. Also, releasing, give a little bit more attention into your lower back, your lumbar spine. Just breathing and letting that go a little bit more. That might shift you back a little bit, might shift you a little bit differently than where you started off. Maybe you shift forward even a little bit. And then we're just going to let that release come through, taking the palms off, feeling that sense of lightness through the crown of the head. And then from here, we're going to take the hands together and let the breath draw up into our hands. Just feeling a sense of that internal gathering of the breath, and gently gliding the palms forward and back in between the fingers, feeling a sense of openness and space here. getting the heat and friction or energy up into your hands. And then we're going to gently release the palms open, feeling that little buzzing energy here. And let that energy push your palms out, opening into the space around you. So we're going to breathe and expand like we're yawning and expanding into the space around us, feeling the breath through the back of the body. Just gently move you around through space, finding that sense of openness but support, and just exploring any direction you feel that your body wants to go. Let your breath guide this release to open out and feel that you're kind of swirling the energy around you throughout the room. So you're feeling that you're kind of supported from the outside in and then from the inside out. We're going to reach out, gathering that energy from around the space, taking it and sensing it over our eyes, breathing into it, washing over the face, around the eyes, and just finding that sense of calm and release to wash over your face, around the eyes. And then we'll take our fingertips into the brow bone. We're going to take a nice exhale, carving from the inside to the outside with a nice little lift up into the hairline, using your exhale to feel released and open, letting that space flush through and open from the center out. And then we'll go underneath the eyes. We're going to use our index finger, a little bend there, and sweep underneath the eyes on the orbital bone. You're following the bone line around and up into the hairline. We're going to use a nice, again, released exhale to sweep through, around and up. And then we'll come into the forehead. We're just taking our fingertips and breathing out, lightly scrubbing up and down. Just kind of moving that surface of the skin, getting some movement and flush through the lymph under the skin. And then coming around to the outside of the eyes, the temples, very, very light with your fingertips, taking circular motions around here. So you're not pressing in, not poking into this area, into the temples. And then we'll travel down in between the upper and lower jaw. So we're going to relax the jaw, hang it open. Use your fingertips now to push in the little bit more pressure so you can palpate, you can press into the tissue and breathe into that and just kind of feel where that tightness and tension is and just sort of move around, flushing it through. You don't have to stay in one spot, you can, but if you kind of move around a little bit, the one tighter spot might dissipate more easily. So you can sort of check through that. And then we're going to come up above the ears into the scalp. So we're taking this nice little scrubbing, lifting motion up above the ears, lifting up into the crown of the head. So we're coming around the ears towards the back, finding that nice sense of lifting up from the base of the skull here, feeling a sense of openness and length off of the top of the spine. And then we have that nice little sort of divot, right, in the back underneath our head where the spine and head meet. And we're going to massage into that, breathing into it, the occipital area, and feeling that we're just opening the space through that little crevice area, and then feeling a sense of openness and length come through. We're coming out towards the outsides a little bit more, towards your ears. And then we're going to come back in close to the spine. Now we're going to make nice circular massage motions around down the sides of the spine, right? So you're on your muscle tissue there, traveling down along the sides of the back of the neck and just kind of breathing into that, releasing these long erector muscles a little bit at the top. And then we're coming into the tops of the shoulders and lots of tension here probably. We're going to take our fingertips and just dig a little bit, sweeping back over top of the shoulders. Take a nice exhale and sweep off any tension and tightness. And then we're going to go back again, using breath. And exhale to sweep and letting it go. One more time, going back. And exhale, sweeping and releasing off. Now we're going to interlace the fingers, find a nice breath right through the center of your body internally. We're going to yawn inside to lift up. Lifting up from the inside, we're just going to wiggle up out of the hips, releasing out of the low back, and finding that nice sense of just sort of decompressing from the base of the spine and the hips. And then come through center, relax the arms down, relax through the tail. We're going to let the arms drape down in front. Take a nice little sweeping motion. We're going to glide around the side, elbows wide, inhale up, and relax your shoulders. Let this nice massage come through to go over, around, and forward and down. So we're going to find that long tail reaching through the floor. Inhale up. And exhale over, breathing through the sides of the ribs and forward, around and down. Relaxing the arms down. Inhale, breathing through the side ribs and up and over. Exhale, around and forward and down. Sweeping around, let your breath guide you. Inhale up. And we're going to stay for a little pause at the top. Change the direction. Exhale. And forward, around and down. Inhale through the side ribs and up. And exhale over, around and down. And again, letting the breath come in through the side to come up. And then feel that nice lifting up through the midline, reaching up nice and tall from inside. We're going to separate the hands, feel that lift inside, and circle through the wrists and fingers here. We're just breathing the palms open, letting the arms float down as we circle around, and then finding that nice sense of release, letting the arms hang from that openness and length of the spine, feeling how the shoulders just hang open, right? So sometimes the shoulders are really pulled forward, and there are so many different confusing things to do to correct the alignment in your shoulders. But we're just going through the spine. If you give your spine more length, then the shoulders can find their place. So it's easier, right? It makes more sense, right? So now from here, we're just going to relax. We'll bring the feet out in front. Let's take a nice little shake out through the backs of the knees, releasing the feet on the floor. And then we're going to bend the right knee, just let your knee kind of hang open to the side. We'll flex the left foot straight out. Your heel doesn't have to come off the floor. So you're just lengthening behind your knee through your heel. Let your foot do whatever it does. The left foot, the left palm go up. The other hand comes back. We're going to exhale, breathe through that midline, that center line right through the center of your body is waking up. We're breathing through the center to yawn and stretch. Relax and change to the other side. We let the breath come in to lift up and release and change. And again, finding that long tail to breathe up and over, letting the arm hang and release and change. And breath comes in to bring you up. And release and change. One more time on each side. Breath lifts you up. And release and change. And last time. Breath brings you up. And release and relax. Now we're going to bring the arms up and we're going to circle through the wrists and the ankles. Breathing through. Feeling that sense of space and openness as we make our way down, relaxing eventually all the way over just to hang over the legs on the floor. So you're going to let your head go first. Feel the head let go and let your body release with that, not forcing anything. So the weight of your head is relaxing towards the floor. And we're going to just breathe out through the nose. If you can, breathe out through the nose. Otherwise, you can breathe out through the mouth, but we're going to let the breath release through the nose. That travels along the nerves of the spine a little bit more as we let the head go
We're breathing out and just giving a little release, a little drop. If your head doesn't move so much, that's okay. You're just trying to let go, to feel something, to build a sense of awareness. And now hanging over, relaxing the head, we're going to start to sway the head from side to side and feel nice and heavy, like an elephant, shifting and walking and swaying, and feeling that sense of dropping down and breathing into the back of the ribs. There's a nice tiny little scoop through the abdomen, giving you a little bit of support as you let go so that you have a place to let go from, right? So we feel the connection so that we can release and expand around that area. Now we're going to use the breath through the abdomen to lift the hip up and walk backwards. The breath lifts the hip and we walk, and breath up and over. So we're just dragging the legs along the floor as we shift through the hips, breathing into the low back and the sacrum. And then we're going to come forward. We lift up and drop. And then again. So now we're using our sits bones like little feet, pushing on the floor, pushing down, lifting up and over, and letting go. And just feeling that nice movement shifting. You're breathing and moving from your pelvis to move through your legs so the legs can let go a little bit more. And then we're just going to relax and hang over, relaxing through the head here. Find a nice heavy long tail here. So we're going to draw the tail nice and long through the floor like a nice long dinosaur tail as the breath comes in and up through the front, through the abdomen, all the way up, lifting you tall. To get that tallness more easily, feel your tail drag down even more. The density of the tail end of the spine reaching down floats your body up, so you don't have to worry about fixing, right? Find that energetic posture and then just let it go. So we're going to soften through the chest here. Let's take our fists, nice little scoop through the abdomen. We're going to do a nice drumming, breathing into the sacrum and the low back, getting a nice sense of just sort of bouncing the palms off your body and feeling that you're letting go of anything holding on into the surface, going around into the backs of the hips, into the glutes a little bit. And then we're going to make our way up the sides of the spine. Use your breath and feel that you're just sort of separating wide through the vertebrae, out to the sides, laterally, releasing from the spine and working back down again. And then we're going to come into the sides of the hips, the greater trochanters, just kind of bouncing the palms off of the back side of the hips here, letting that go and just feeling a sense of your hips, right? So we're waking the hip sockets up from the inside. And then we're going to alternate. So we're going to come from the back of the hip, either side. And this is more of that circular flushing type motion. As you let the palm drop, we're going to just feel the breath release. So we want to feel that we're shifting and moving any tension and tightness from the back of the hip and sending it down and out towards the feet. And then from here, we're coming around to the side. We're going to open the palms, doing a nice fluffy heel of the hand scooping motion. We're sweeping up and around the sides of the legs. Relax your muscles. Let them really, really shake around here. We're kind of scooping and lifting and moving around on the bones, kind of letting things release and open up so that our body can adjust through movement. We're going to come down the sides of the legs until you've reached almost towards your knees. So we're going to go where the muscles attach over the knees, and that nice little padding motion again, going above the knees, around, all throughout the quadricep attachments, and then coming back into center. Now we'll go with our fingertips, lightly tapping, breathing into this vibration, into the bone, into the joints, and just feeling that vibration gets all the way through the bones, waking up internally through our nervous system, traveling down the shin bones, feeling the shins, feeling that vibration on the bone all the way down to the ankles, breathing through this. Try not to hold your breath. And then we're going to travel back up the shins again, taking that nice
Releasing the breath, vibration, energy coming into the internal core of our body. And then we're going to flush from heels of the hands, flushing from your hips all the way down to the knees. You can give a really good amount of pressure and massage here. We want to elongate through the muscles, following the thigh bone line, right? So our legs are round. We're going to go a little bit on the inside, a little bit on the outside. Of course, the muscles don't go straight here. They kind of cross and web a little bit. So you're going to feel kind of little lumpies, most likely. Maybe you never felt your quadriceps like this before. So this is your own body. So it's always nice to feel your own body and not just think of an image or some random photo, right? So what does your body feel like? Now we're going to lean back a little bit and just kind of drop your hands into the front of your hips, your hip flexors. We're just going to kind of bounce off there and let that release and flush down through the quads one more time. And then we're going to go along into the outside of the shins, that loose, fluffy palm on the outside of the shins, just kind of fluffing up and around, feeling these are the peroneals, right? So finding this little sense of release and openness and breath through this area, letting the knees and the ankles adjust more freely, giving that sense of slight flexibility and openness through this area. And then we're going to draw the feet back in. We're letting the knees hang open to the side, wherever you're comfortable. This can be longer or shorter. We're going to use the tops of the hands to now go downward through the inside thighs, the adductor lines, and just breathing and releasing from the hips in a downward motion, letting go and breathing through any tension or tightness you feel here. Sweep along the thighs towards the knees in that downward motion. And then when we get to the calves, we're going to gently flex our heels to slightly engage the calves. And we're going to make a fist dropping into the calves, feeling just enough engagement so that they can still kind of move around and shake off the bone a little bit here. So, and you can do what feels good for you, you know. So we want to feel a sense of a lateral release, right? So we're coming in, if we're standing up, we're going, the muscle is moving side to side, not stretching the calf by just moving it vertically up and down, right? So now we're going to come down lower below the calves, the soleus and the Achilles tendon. We're just patting down into that lower portion, kind of waking things up here. And then we're going to take the hands back behind us, let the legs come out, and just give a nice good shake out along the floor. You can kind of wiggle your hips, releasing the shoulders there, releasing anything holding. We're going to take the right knee up. Inhale. Start your exhale. Then let the leg go. We're going to let the breath in, other side. And exhale. So we feel a little sense of gathering through the exhale before we let go. And again. So the breath helps gather the connection through your body so that you can really let the leg go, right? So you're not using force other than the contrast, right? It's different. It's going to sound different for everybody. Now from here, just relax your legs. Let them just kind of glide and turn in and out. You can do these little taps with your toes. Focus on releasing through the hips, just letting that turning and the hip socket come through. And then from here, we're going to bring the feet in, and we're just going to focus on the feet a little bit more, circling through the ankles, breathing into the ankles, releasing the feet on the floor. And then we're going to take a nice massage on the inside of our heel, underneath the ankle bone, just kind of flushing things through here, opening up that inner ankle area, feeling a sense of awareness in that area, right? So that sort of travels all the way up this internal adduction line of the leg into our hips, into our psoas, everything. We're going to come around and massage underneath the soles of the feet here, doing a nice kind of mushing around, breathing, really letting go and releasing into the instep, really relaxing your feet, especially if you have high arches. And we're working our way up into the balls of the feet. We're kind of going under the metatarsals, moving things around a little bit more. Try to relax your feet, let them become more malleable as you're maneuvering with your hands here. And then we're going to take our hands underneath the balls of the feet and just hold space in between your toes. We're just going to hold some space in between the toes and try to relax the feet. Breathing into the feet, letting this go for a moment, letting that space come through and gently releasing the hands, taking the hands back behind us. So now we're going to bend both knees and we're going to walk through the feet. Hands are we're going to rest behind us. There's a little curl under through the tail. We're gathering the legs through the midline, squeezing from the outside of the hips, the outside hip sockets. You're going to gather into the center. Exhale, feel your breath from the pelvis all the way down through the toes as you walk. Your toes are reaching out to pull the heel forward. So we have that nice doming. We're going to exhale and walk. And so you're breathing through the soles of the feet, letting the soles of the feet expand and release, especially the arches, into the floor. When we get too far away, we're going to reverse. The toes go over, nice even dome. Melt into the floor as you glide your heel back, up and over. Finding that dome, exhale, melt and drag back, up and over. And breathing into the floor. Now we're going to go forward one more time through the center. Exhale and walk. Finding that nice connection from the pelvis down through the toes. And again, feeling that the whole foot breathes and expands into the floor. And then just relax, shaking the legs out. We're going to bring the feet back in, taking a nice you can either cross the feet or take a diamond shape. Again, whatever feels comfy for your hips. We're going to lift the chest up, taking some breath, and just feel that breath expansion through the sides of the ribs, massaging and moving the lymph around. And feeling like a nice happy hamster. Breathing into this, flushing all the way through. And then eventually coming down into the front of the hips. We're just going to massage and move through the lymph into this front hip groin area. And then coming up right into the center of the chest here. So just finding a nice exhale and scrub up and down, releasing into the center and letting that tension go that's holding there. And then starting to flush down, stroking down through the center of the body, from the ribs all the way into the pelvis. We're just taking these sweeping motions, going to the side, under the ribs on the side, using your breath or feeling that your breath is more easily opened and released and aware as you move through. So we're sort of getting the neurological component to enhance releasing and expanding and opening the body, right? We're going to come back through center, relaxing the arms to hang over the shoulders. We're going to let the head relax over to one side and take your hand just massaging into the front of the shoulder, breathing into that and letting the head, if you like, your head can move around a little bit here. Just feeling that you're kind of exploring. Again, this is an area where you can kind of mush around again. Lots of lymph in this area as well. And also a little bit of tension in the front of the shoulders probably. So you can move around to where you feel comfortable to release and let go. We're going to relax and go through the other side, hanging the head over and using the breath to guide you. So we're using the breath to move around. Try not to hold your shoulder or hold your head or feel that you have to make your head go over. So maybe your head doesn't go that far or easily over. That's okay. We're just finding a sense of release and breath and movement. We're kind of helping the body out here. And then just relaxing through center. Now we're going to use the breath through the palm. We're just going to drop up and over the shoulder and release. So we're just sort of literally patting our back, letting that exhale, not feeling like you have to have a lot of force. We're just kind of swinging and breathing and releasing and letting that touch from our palm give a sense of expansion and breath, opening through the upper back ribs into the lungs, right? So feeling that there's space that our body can use through the lungs all the way up into our upper backs. Sometimes imagine if you feel really tense in your upper back, you might be closing off your lung capacity. You probably are. So maybe, the lungs you want to make sure everything is free to be in the organs. And then we're just going to relax through the center. Let the tail release under. Finding that breath, we're going to gather the breath. Inhale, lifting you up inside. That breath lifts you up and up and up and up and up until we have to let go through the arms. Release. We're just going to throw them down and out. We're going to find that nice releasing up, sustaining as we let the arms go. Soften through the tail. Gather that internal breath again to lift you up. Inhale. Feel that the inhalation connects internally to lift you up, and let it go. And then soften the tail one more time. Inhale up. Feeling that the tail of your spine draws down to lift you up. And release. Now we're going to just shake it all out. Releasing through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the head, the cheeks here. Letting your breath go, letting that release go through the forearms, all the way down into the hands and the fingertips. And then from here, we're going to gently, when we feel that fuzzy feeling travel all the way down into the hands, we're going to interlace the fingers and just take a nice little compression, release, breathing into the space between our fingers here, letting that webbing open up in between the fingers, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the head. We're just going to glide and release, let the breath go as you release your wrists, just to move around, finding a sense of momentum through the release. And then we're going to take that in the other direction. Let the breath guide you so that it feels open and released as you're doing this. So you don't feel you have to force it. And whatever happens, happens, There might be some unwinding to happen that's needed in your body. So don't force a pattern. Let your body figure it out. And then we're just going to separate, feel the breath through the palms, opening and closing, finding that sense of from the center of the palm, breathing open, and then collecting into the center. Now this compression release feeling, we're going to use the breath through the base of the spine, the dantian. We want to let that softening come through the tail. We're going to inhale, feel that the inhale expands and floats the body up. And then on the exhale, we're squeezing. We're going to squeeze through the low belly. Exhale, squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes. We're compressing and squeezing out anything we don't need or want anymore. Using your breath to push it out through the nerve lines. Exhale until you don't have any more breath left. Let the breath in. Feel that expansion floating you open and up. And then again, squeezing, exhale. So we're compressing from all these distal points, fingertips, toes, eyes, scooping through the abdomen as we exhale, exhale, exhale. Cleansing, making space for new things to come in. Letting the breath in. Expanding and floating open on this last one. Sorry, we have two more. We're going to exhale, squeeze it out. Floating open. On this last one, we're going to exhale, but this time gather that light new energy through the fingertips and toes. drawing that energy into the center of your body, using this breath, enveloping it, connecting into it, and then just letting the breath in, floating up and flicking away anything that was kind of holding on. We're going to come around into the back of the head and the neck. Let's interlace the hands and just rest your head into your palms. Let your jaw and chin relax here. Don't worry about where your elbows are right now. Find that nice releasing down through the tail end of the spine. Let your tail go and release with gravity as you breathe in and back into the back of the palms, like you're standing against a wall, but this is a much more supportive sort of cocooning wall here. We're going to use that breath into the back of the palms, feeling that plumb line through the spine, sweeping the palms up and open and out, around and down. Now we're going to use that internal breath through the plumb line to come in and up and out through the eyes. So we're just using the eyes to gently look around the room, scanning the room, and just kind of seeing every little detail as we move around, looking over to the side, feeling a sense of breath connection through the spine. As we let the eyes move back around the other way, we're trying to find a sense of internal length and connection coming through the body, but then going outward through the eyes, looking into the space around us. And then again, finding that breath and taking that around the other way. But this time we're going to let the vision expand. So we're letting the vision expand through the walls, through the space that you're in. You're letting it open out wider into a nice, beautiful horizon view, but still feeling that sense of internal connectivity. And then again, using the breath to let the vision expand, feeling a sense of that length in and back and up, especially through the neck and the back of the head, right? This is where it's really easy to shear the chin forward. But we want to feel more connected in alignment with the spine, from the base of the spine all the way up. We want to sort of solidify that feeling. We're going to come back through center, take a deep breath in and pull the breath up from the low belly and squeeze the eyes shut. We're going to relax the shoulders out. So we just want to feel that inhale, breath pull up. And sustaining it, holding it. Then we're going to exhale. Gently open the eyes, let them blink a little bit. And then taking nice little sweeps and blinks around the face, around the eyes, letting the breath release and open through the face here. And then we'll take our fingertips, just lightly tapping all around the head, around the skull, feeling that nice sense of release and vibration. Again, traveling through the bones, feeling that sense of awareness, opening up even. Nice little sweeping up through the neck into the head. Again, that energetic expansion through the back of the neck, and letting that guide you into gently turning and spotting from side to side. Let your jaw go. Feel that connection through the back. And just don't go quickly if you don't feel comfortable. And if you do, you can just find a nice exhale, release, letting it shake and go. And then gently slowing it down and relaxing. And now we're going to come around onto hands and knees. Coming around onto our hands and knees and feeling that the shoulders and the hips are nice and stacked over one another. We're just going to take a nice breath in and up through the abdomen. Let your feet come out long and give a nice little touch through the heels here. We're going to let the breath come in and up, lifting up to the ceiling, rounding the back. Let your head drop down and just take a nice exhale, scooping and breathing into the back of the body wide, pushing the floor away. Find the breath through the abdomen, lifting you up. You're lifting through the tail, lifting through the chest, lifting the heels, tucking the toes under. Take a nice little softening of your elbows as your tail draws back. So we're expanding through the both ends of the spine. Coming forward, the breath through the abdomen lifts you up. Releasing long through the feet. Let your head drop all the way down. Take a nice exhale, pushing away. Now from here today, we're going to come all the way back to sit on the floor. Come around with the feet out in front. We're going to give a nice little shake out through the backs of the knees and the heels here. And we're practicing flexing through the heels, feeling the back of the heel and ankle open up, with letting the knees soften a little bit. So we can find our sitting bones, right? So we have the two ends of the leg, right? We have the top sitting bone attachment points, then we have the bottom back heels. We're expanding and stretching through those points, but this midpoint, because it might be a little bit tight, we need to let this give a little bit so we can expand the stretch from the attachment zones. So we're not trying to pull, we could have a pullback effect otherwise. So now from here, we're just going to bend your one knee and let your foot relax on the floor. The foot is not up at your knee, it's down by your ankle when it's on the floor. We're going to hold and onto the knee, flex this foot. Now we're going to practice lifting up and over the sits bone as we stretch through the back of the knee and the heel. We're going to exhale, release and change. Breathe down along the floor to stretch out, release and change. And breathe down along the floor to stretch out, release and change. And the breath, we're lifting up and over the sits bones to open up the back of the leg, release and change. If the length behind your knee along the floor floats your heel slightly off the floor, that's okay. That's just because that's happening on me, and that's just how my legs are built structurally. I'm not trying to press the back of my knee on the floor. If you're hyperextended, this will happen. I am trying to constantly expand outward, but it still happens, right? So I'm trying to stay on the floor as long as I can, and that expansion just gently comes through, but it's still a nice balanced stretch through the back of the knee. This is a nice way to practice straightening your legs if you're hyperextended, to feel that stretch and balance around the knee joint, but without pulling back in the knee and adding pressure. Now from here, one's flexed, we're going to take one hand in and up, let the knee soften. We're going to inhale, lift up over the sits bone, take hold on the outside of your foot, and then we exhale, scoop the abdomen and curl in and back and up. The leg scoops down and out and away. We're going to release and change. Let the breath through the midline float the arm up. And we softly go over, taking hold of the foot. Relax. We find that nice exhale, scooping in and back and up. Breathing down and out through the back of the leg. We're going to release and change. Again, find that long tail. Breath comes in and up. We feel that length through the tail to lift us and over. Relaxing the head. Feel the breath in and back and up, opening down and out through the leg. And release and change. Breath comes in and up one more time. Feeling that nice length over. And folding, relaxing right through the center, taking a nice exhale, expanding through that leg, and release. Now from here, both legs out, flexing both heels, softening behind both knees. We're going to inhale, feel that long release down through the tail, floating the arms up, lifting up to go over. We're rounding over the top. You can soften your knees so you can take hold over the tops of the toes. Relax your head down. If you can't reach here, that's fine. You can just sort of hold onto your ankles. just feel that you are closing the chain, right? So we have some connection in our hands somewhere on our body. And then we're going to breathe in and back and up through the back of the body and feel that release through the back, the low back down through the legs, release down and out along the floor. Relax and release. We're going to roll up. Find that nice long tail. Inhale, floating the arms up. And finding that nice lift. We're lifting over the sits bones to come forward. Relaxing and hanging down. And then taking a nice long exhale. Breathing in and back and up. And release. And rolling up. Now, we're going to come around onto our hands and knees. Finding that nice, stacked quadruped shoulders over hips here. And feeling that sense of midline. Now we're going to take your right foot back, tucking the toes under. Feel the tail. Now we breathe through that midline energy, gliding that foot back behind. And then bringing that foot back in. So we're going to take the other foot back, feel a connection right through the center of the body to glide that leg away, opening through the back of the knee, the heel, and the front of the hip. And again, lifting up and over. And exhale. Let the breath move through the body. And coming in. And up and over. Exhale. So there's a sense of letting go and lengthening through the sacrum to flush through the direction of your leg. And again, feeling that nice connection to go over to release and coming back in. Now from here, if you feel comfortable in your knees, we're going to tuck the toes under, come close to your knees and push back to hang your tail over the heels. Your knees can go a little bit out to the sides. We're going to let the arms hang over and just let the tail drop, let the head drop. You can take a nice little bounce with your tail. Use your hands to gently shift your body weight a little bit forward and back on the feet. We're going to take a deep breath. Hands come really close to the toes. We're going to exhale and push the floor away to stretch. Wherever you're hanging, maybe you're hanging over your legs up here, that's fine. We're just going to relax the body hanging over and just kind of shake the legs out. Feel that your tail starts to plumb line over your heels. And you're just going to kind of sway, bending one knee, hanging over the bent knee, and then swaying and shifting the other knee. So you're feeling your hip shift into the straight leg heel. We're going to change and exhale and shift and change. Exhale and shift and back to center. Relaxing the body over. Feel that your tail plumb lines right over the backs of the heels. We're going to let the breath come in and up through the upper abdomen. So we're lifting up to the ceiling. And that gives us space to release the tail down through the back of the body, through the floor, along the heels. The in and up lift as the tail releases down. That's going to bring you all the way up into standing. And once you get up nice and tall, you find the release down back in the back, in and up through the front. So it's that nice loop energy. And just let that happen, coming through the floor, through your feet, and then feeling the breath come in. We're just going to lift the shoulders up. Find that energy releasing down through the tail, through the heels. Inhale up. And we feel the gravity through the bones. One more time, arms come in and up. We're rippling up through the spine. Heels to open the chest and let the arms float out around and down and just relax the shoulders. Feel that nice long tail energy and let that take you into a nice little walk, shifting around the space, around the room here so that you can feel just sort of more balanced in your upright standing posture. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for coming today, and same time, same place next week, next Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Any questions or comments, please let me know. And I hope everybody has a lovely week. Thank you so much. Bye.